Hello, Beck. Modern tech.
Magic.
It's deep. So, what am I looking at?
You are looking at a Golgari Graveyard Smash. So it's a bunch of creatures that either get big or get really cheap because you have a lot of creatures in the graveyard, or get really big because you have a lot of creatures in the graveyard. So to start us off, we have the 4 Stitcher Supplier. It's just a great all-around card when we're trying to fill a graveyard, because it mills us 3 when it enters or dies. 4 Satyr Wayfinder, so this mills us 4 cards. Of course, we can take one of the lands if there is one in there and put it in our hand, but he's there because we want to put creatures in the graveyard, and he accomplishes that great. So, and then the first card that gets benefits from our creatures in the yard, Boneyard Wurm. Star, where star is the number of creatures in your graveyard, so he's kind of like a little Tarmogoyf, but can get a lot bigger in this list. Then we have the 2 Glowspore Shaman. This is a 3/1 that mills 3 when it enters. You can take a land from those 3 and put it on top of your library, but in most cases, like unless you really need that 3rd land drop, it's just a mill 3. And of course, we want creatures in the graveyard, and it helps us with that. 2 Nighthowler. So this is a fun card because he is a creature that gets +X/+X, where X is the number of creatures in graveyard.
All graveyards.
Yeah, all graveyards. So it does count your opponents. And he can also do the weird bestow mechanic where he becomes an enchantment that gives the creature that. And then when that creature dies, he just falls off and becomes a creature himself.
And also worth noting, the bestow cost is only 4. That's not much.
Yeah, like it's cheap enough, and like you stick that on a Boneyard Wurm, and it's gonna hurt. We have 3 Shriekmaw. This is a removal spell that puts a creature in the graveyard because you can evoke it for 2 mana. It does non-artifact, non-black, so it does have some restriction to it. But it puts a creature in the graveyard, and it's still a removal spell, which is great for this list. Then we have 3 Splinterfright. So this is a star. He's 3 mana, but star number of graveyard. Number of creatures in your graveyard.
Trample though.
But he has trample, and at the beginning of your upkeep, he mills 2 cards. So he slowly helps all your other creatures get bigger.
1 card combo.
We have 1 Golgari Raiders. So this one, when he enters, he gets a +1/+1 counter for each creature in your graveyard. But he's a hasted creature, so he can come out of nowhere and help finish the opponent off. 4 Ghoultree. This is an 8 mana 10/10, but it gets 1 cheaper for each creature in your graveyard. So it's a 10/10 that can rapidly get pretty cheap in this list.
Up to and including 1 mana?
Yeah, up to and including 1 mana.
Which is pretty good.
Then for the spells, we have 3 Necrotic Wound. Since, we're filling our graveyard with creatures, this is just like a better Fatal Push in most cases.
-X.
Yeah, like by the time you'd have, worry about Revolt, it's probably big enough to kill the 4 drops.
Also does exile it if it dies.
Yes.
Which is kind of neat.
Which could sometimes be helpful.
Yeah.
3 Grizzly Salvage. This is another 2 mana way to dump creatures into our graveyard. Gets to reveal a top 5. You can choose a creature or land, so you can pick out the creature you want and dump the rest into the yard. 3 Mausoleum Secrets. This is the fun card to use. It's Demonic Tutor.
Instant speed.
Instant speed, but it's using the Undergrowth, so you have to find a black card with converted mana cost less than or equal to number of creatures in your graveyard. There is 1 expensive black card here that is very useful to get, and 1 slightly cheaper one that we'll get to pretty quick. I guess, I can explain them now. So, Worm Harvest makes a 1/1 for each land in your graveyard and then retraces. So, since it retraces, you just keep discarding the lands, but sometimes you just can fetch it out with the Mausoleum Secrets. The other one that's nice to find is the Rite of Consumption.
Yeah, this is nutty. I forgot this card was a thing.
Yeah, I didn't actually realize this card was a thing. It is a black fling, of course, sorcery speed, but it drains the opponent too. Yeah. So even if you don't kill them, it can help put you out of reach in the meanwhile. So you throw a Ghoultree at them, you have their health, and you gain 10. But
that's a 20-point swing.
But once you get a big enough Boneyard Wurm, or God help them if you've stuck a Nightcrawler on something.
Yeah.
It's probably a 1-card kill. So, but since it is not like a card you always want to cast, it's nice that we have the Mausoleum Secrets to lure it out. And then we have the Great Henge, because we have giant creatures. So it's generally 2 mana. Of course, it does sometimes just get lost in the graveyard with all our milling, but it's still worthwhile if you land it. And then to finish up with the lands, we have 4 Verdant, 2 Marsh Flats. It's just enough fetch lands to help us make sure we get our lands. 3 Overgrown Tombs, since the only double spell that we really have to worry about is Nightcrawler. Like, yeah, this is 3 colors, but it's 3 of either of our colors, so it doesn't really matter. 2 Blooming Marsh, since we're low-end curve, having the Blooming Marshes isn't really a downside. 2 Castle Lockwane. This is, once we've emptied our hand, or even at the start, it draws cards and it's a land.
Yeah.
So, worthwhile. Then 3 Swamps and 4 Forests.
Alright. Well, excited to see this in action. And, yeah, we will see you back tomorrow, I believe, for this matchup. So, bye.
Bye!